Welcome back to another episode of the MIDLIFE MUSCLE Podcast. I'm your host, Joey Atlas, and this is Kristiana.
Hi, how are you?
Kristiana, thanks for making it today.
Thank you for
This is going to be super fun.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. Well, God invited you, not me.
Absolutely.
So I'm serious. Like I can't stop laughing every time I think about the parking lot meeting.
Oh my! It literally, I was not expecting that. I was pretty much half asleep too. Like I woke up from a nap, getting ready to go to work, and all I hear is Kristiana. I was like, who's that?
Are you the world famous Kristiana? In my head, I'm thinking she must have seen me because she was right there. I just didn't know that was you in the car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I do my thing, and you're like, "Oh my god!" That was the funniest ever.
It really was
so good. Thank you for being that way. And then we start laughing and talking. You weren't crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, good. Yeah. I love people. So.
Amen. I sensed that right away.
Yeah.
All right. So, Christiana is our obvious next guest on the podcast. Paula, who Ashley nominated last week. Mm-hmm. Is going to go in January. Mm-hmm. Super busy mom, wife, trainer, full schedule. But she did say early January, I'm in. But we also have we have 8 or 9 other people lined up. Mm-hmm. Argan, Sarah, Dr. D, Nate, Drew, mm-hmm. Armando, Lee, Julian, Joe, and of course Paula. And I'm adding more every week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, such good stuff. Yeah. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Before we get into the actual episode, mm-hmm. give me and the viewer or the listener a quick 3 to 4 sentence summary of who Kristiana is.
So I am, I just recently turned IFBB Pro.
Nice, congrats.
Thank you very much. I've been competing for 3 years. I've been in the fitness industry for about 5 years. Okay. I just love to challenge myself and see how far I can push myself mentally and physically.
Awesome. Age?
I'm 29.
29. Yeah. All right. So close enough to be considered early middle age.
Exactly. Right? I don't feel it, but.
Oh, I'm with you there. Trust me. Good stuff. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what I want to do is, just like I did with Ashley, and what I'm going to try to do with everybody is let's go back to your childhood. Okay. Where were you born, raised, and quickly, how did you end up in Jax?
Okay. So I am from a small town called Milford, Pennsylvania. I was there for 25 years, pretty much my whole entire life. One day, during COVID in 2020, my dad came home and he's like, let's move to Florida. And we're like, okay, let's move to Florida. Coincidentally, my mom's best friend growing up, her next door neighbor was selling her house, and my parents came down, fell in love with the house, put an offer in, and here we are 3 years later. All right, so
that's more of God's work right there.
Oh, absolutely. Wow. Oh my goodness.
So you moved as a family.
Yeah, so my sister still lives in Pennsylvania, but my mom, dad, and myself, we moved down here to Florida.
Nice. I suppose everybody loves it?
Yeah. Yes.
It's a great place.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. All right. So moved down here. Were you active as a kid? Did you play sports?
Yes. I played kind of any sport you could think of and tried. From soccer, t-ball, softball, basketball. I fell in love with swimming. Okay. I was a swimmer for 8 years, and then I was a diver for 6 years. When I dropped out of college, that's kind of when my athletic, career was over. Mm-hmm. So I kind of took a break from the gym. And then about, I would say probably 4 years later, I started working with a lifestyle coach who also competes, mm-hmm. and never was interested in competing, and just kind of got a little bug, and was a little tap on the shoulder, hey, maybe you should ask her some questions. Mm-hmm. And I just asked her, I was like, do you think maybe it would be something I would be good at? And she was like, oh my gosh, yes, you have the discipline. You should totally do it. And found David, who's my coach, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Yeah, when I remember first seeing, actually I saw you the day my friend signed me up, which the story is in Ashley's episode. Okay. How I ended up in the gym. Mm-hmm. Because I used to be training at home. Okay. I've been in gyms my whole life since I was a kid, mm-hmm. but I've been training home for years. I have a whole unit complete training unit I designed.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the short story. End up in there.
Mm-hmm.
My friend signs me up to help train him. Drew signs us up. And I think on our way in, you were one of the 2 or 3 people behind the desk. I noticed you. But like your physique was like, that girl either competes or like she has to be nudged to go compete. And I'm not really big on competing. I did it when I was younger. It's a great learning experience. It gives you great context for the bigger picture.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it also helps you coach and train other people, even if they don't compete. But I noticed your genetics. I was like, she was either a gymnast or she's competing or she's close to it. And if not, she should be.
So what month did you sign up? Do you remember?
It was, I think, May of the summer.
Yeah. So I was probably about like 4 or 5 weeks out from my first show for this past year.
Makes sense. So that's what I was seeing. Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. Love it. All right. So childhood, somewhat active. The fitness stuff you didn't get into relatively recently in the last 5 or 6 years. Really.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And so how did you get into, what made you want to, number 1, be a coach trainer and 2, licensed massage therapist?
So I'll go with massage therapy first because I've been doing that the longest. I've been a massage therapist for 8 years. So like I said, I went to college and I dropped out, kind of had like a mental breakdown. I was like, Mom, I don't know what I want to do with my life and I don't want to waste thousands of dollars and not be guaranteed a job. So please come pick me up. So I wasn't telling anyone that I dropped out. A couple weeks later, I met a family friend just out and about. And she's like, what are you doing home? And I was like, I kind of dropped out of school. And she was like, oh, okay, well, what are some things that you like to learn about? And I was like, I love anatomy. I think the human body is the most fascinating machine we have. Everyone's so different, yet could be so similar.
Yes.
But I don't do the blood, gut, needle thing. So she mentioned a couple things, and she mentioned massage therapy, and I was like, "Oh, you can make a career out of that?" She's like, yeah, you can, girl." So, met with a couple of my local massage therapists, and they recommend some good schools. I went to a trade school in Scranton, Pennsylvania, because I was pretty close to Scranton.
Okay.
And became a massage therapist there. It wasn't until actually COVID happened where I got my certification for personal training.
Okay.
I just thought it would go nice hand in hand. And it's just another excuse to work with people just because I love people. I love working with people and making them feel better about themselves too.
Understood. It gives you more options too. I've got family in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Bear Creek.
No way! Oh my gosh. I swear this world gets smaller and smaller.
Crazy, right? They're looking to come down to Florida. At least my generation is. They've had enough of the snow.
Yeah.
That's another story. This is great. Okay. So that's your path into fitness. Obviously, that's what you're doing now. That's how we cross paths because we're in the gym. Speaking of the gym, just about everybody I'm interviewing are people from what's called the Gym Jacks.
Yes.
The gym in Jacksonville, Florida. And part of why I felt compelled to do this, like with God's nudging, is that I really feel God put me in a place when I had no plans to be in a gym. Where I'm gonna like notice there's a great vibe. There's a lot of great people. Everybody is pretty friendly, respectful of others, open. And I wasn't expecting that. Not that I was expecting anything bad. I just expected an indifferent atmosphere. But it was way more than that. And and that's why I have all these guests lined up, because I've had people just coming up to me, introducing themselves, asking me questions when they see me training my certain way. You know, like Dr. D, Argan, all these people, everybody. So it's like, you know, and when I would speak to them and ask them about them, there'd be this unique story that needs to be shared and told. Because any viewer or listener in the audience would grab some kind of inspiration or motivation or material that they can make their own, right? In some way, shape, or form. And I just knew it was time to do this. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Okay, so let's focus on your quote unquote off season ish approach to. Let's start with the training first. What does your training look like off season, not competing?
Off season, we're doing about 5 days of lifting and then 2 cardio days, or rest days. But I can't not be in the gym. I'm always there.
Right.
So I just do light cardio. Just do an hour on the treadmill, like incline walk, reading my book.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
I am infamous for that.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah. Just big book nerd too. So.
Understood. I get it.
Yeah.
So the 5 days a week you're training, what does the split look like?
So it also ranges too. Like, did I just step off stage, or am I like deep in off season? So right now I'm very deep in off season. It's been 4 months since my last show. So we're doing 3 days of leg workouts and then 2 upper body days. But with upper body, I have a little bit of like glute and hamstrings because that's my problem area and where I need to improve on. Okay. So we do at least like 1 or 2 exercises in lower body days too. Okay,
excellent. And then what does the nutrition generally look like at this time of year?
It is wonderful. Your girl is very happy. She's eating really, really good.
Understood.
So my coach, he gives me a meal plan. So he pretty much tells me what I need to be eating. Okay. So higher carbs, very, very high protein, moderate fats. And just kind of, I keep it super simple, super basic. And that's just what I like to do too. Right. Like oats, sweet potatoes for carbs.
So on that note, give me like a typical day from start to finish for all your nutrition intake.
Nutrition? Okay. So I eat 7 times a day, which is so much fun. I love it. So breakfast right now is oats and eggs. I work out in the morning, very early in the morning. So I'll have that before my workout. So I'm usually there between 6 and 6:30 in the morning.
You're doing your training?
Yeah, I'm doing my training. Yeah. And then post workout, I have oats, protein powder, and some egg whites. My first meal, I guess you can call it, I have chicken and sweet potatoes. Next meal is lamb and a vegetable. Then I have chicken and sweet potatoes again, then lamb and vegetables again. Then my last meal, I have oats, blueberries, and I can either do eggs or protein powder, which I like to do protein powder because it has a little bit of like peanut butter flavor to it. So
kind of like a little treat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so speaking of treats, do you have any like room for quote unquote what most people call cheat meals or stuff to like?
So I like to call them deserved meals, just because there is no bad food. It's all in moderation. So deserved meal, I am
no bad food because we know the boundaries.
Exactly.
Like, we know I got you.
Yeah.
There is plenty of bad food out there in the public, but for our context, we know.
Yeah, absolutely. So my like go-to deserved meal is either sushi or burger and fries. Okay. And then dessert, I love ice cream and cookies.
Have you been to May Day yet? Is it good?
Oh, it's so good. Right. Oh my! Have you been there yet?
No, but I'm eyeballing it on Instagram. Oh, we have to tell Ashley about it because they love ice cream. I don't think she's been there.
Oh my gosh! So they just came out with their winter flavors. I went there last weekend and had their brown butter cookie ice cream.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so stinking good.
I think I'll be there this weekend.
Oh heck yeah!
All right. Okay, so what about coffee, tea? You drinking that?
Yeah.
Give me the details.
Oh yeah. So caffeine addict over here. I'm very happy that my coach loves me very much.
Quick question on that note: are your parents? What nationality are they?
So they're European.
Okay. Yeah. Whereabouts from?
A little bit like France, Germany. Okay. A little all over the place from Europe. Yeah.
Got it. Go ahead with the coffee.
So coffee. I've always drank my coffee black. Everyone assumes that because I'm a bodybuilder, I drink it black. I've been drinking it black since I was 16.
Okay.
My grandparents used to drink their coffee black, and I always thought it was so cool.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to drink my coffee black. So I always drink my coffee black. So I usually have about 2 cups before my workout. That's like my pre-workout.
Yeah.
And then usually like midday, like when I'm starting to feel a little sluggish, I'm like, oh, I'll get like, you know, some Starbucks, or I'll go to a coffee shop and get a nice cold brew.
Right.
For me, like I have to have something warm in the morning too. It just wakes my soul
Understood.
up a little bit. Yeah. And then midday, I'm like, oh, it's really hot, so I want a nice cold brew or iced coffee.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's the simplest pre-quote unquote workout you could do. Is just awesome. I try to stick to organic usually.
Me too. Yeah.
That's as good as you can get. You don't need all the other crazy stuff.
Nah.
All right. Good move on that. All right. So let's say, do you plan on competing again?
Yeah. Yep.
You have anything in mind?
So sometime in the spring in 2024, like early-ish, spring-ish.
Okay. All right. Before we go there, I want to take a little detour.
Sure.
Like even though I have my notes, like things come up naturally in the conversation, and I totally want to go down those paths. So what's the typical kind of client you work with for training, not massage therapy?
So for training, I do have a couple clients that are competing, and then I have a couple of a handful of clients that are lifestyle. So I have a nice balance of both. I love having both clients just because with competing, like I can have like that extra energy and like really be like, let's go, let's get it.
They're over the top serious.
Absolutely. And then my lifestyle clients, like it's just getting them into the beginnings of fitness and like seeing like the light bulb in them, like be like, oh, like that's what I have to do. And this is, oh my gosh, I'm getting that. I'm like, yes, girl, you got this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I totally get that. That's part of what has driven me for decades to do this stuff is stuff that we take for granted is very natural to us.
Yeah.
Like other people have zero clue like where to even begin. First step.
Yeah.
And being able to bring that gift to them and see the change in them and the self-confidence and the self-esteem and like the energy and the hope that it gives them, that they have some control over their health now and their future.
Absolutely.
Priceless. So on the lifestyle part, is there like a typical type of client that is drawn to you, or?
No, I kind of range all over the place. I have a client that's 15. I have a client that's in her 30s. I just recently got a client who's in her early 60s. Like I kind of have like a nice mix of different age groups. And I don't mind with doing different age groups too. Like I'm here for the client and try to give them the best that they.
Love it. So how do you break up your day then? Like, do you have specific training hours where you're training clients and then doing massage therapy work, body work?
So I only do online training.
Okay.
So because I am so busy with massage, I unfortunately just don't have time anymore to do in-person clients.
Okay.
But my online clients, I pretty much chat with them every day.
Right.
They're always asking questions, always kind of like saying like, hey, what about this? What about that? And I'm always up for answering.
Yeah.
So usually like a typical day for me is I work out, I'll go back home, shower, get ready, go back to work for about 2 hours.
Right.
Then go back home, do some work too, kind of decompress too. Go back to work for about 2 hours and then come home. My day is done.
Right.
I was living with my parents when I first moved down here in St. Augustine. So I was driving 40 minutes every day. So I was up here all day, every day.
Right.
So I knew when I did move up here, like I wanted to be able to have like that like middle of the day where I can go home and just decompress.
Yeah.
I love what I do, but
understood.
You know,
you still need you time.
I do. You need to just be like, okay, I need to be by myself and be weird and do my things. And
Right. Which, one of them is the dog, so we're going to go there.
Yeah.
But before we go any further, we're going to go a bit deeper. Be sure to stay tuned because we're almost done. But at the end, remember, Christiana is going to nominate one of our future guests.
Yeah.
She's going to ask me a question. Have you thought about that?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. And we're going to share your Instagram handle.
Yep.
All right. We're going to share her Instagram so you can follow her journey, her contest preparation when that comes up, and all the other things in between. So also, one more note. I had my supplement container out last episode, and so I got 2 or 3 DMs. Hey, what's your supplement container on the table next to you? This is the Brain Belly Body Elixir Mixer 6-in-1 Foundational Fitness Formula. You can find out all about it at GetLivingStrength.com. GetLivingStrength.com, just like it sounds. All right, and for anybody listening right now, because we got people on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Audio, Google Podcasts. If you're listening out there in the world and you want to see the video version so you can meet Kristiana, see Ashley from last week, see all the future guests coming up on video, which we believe you should, all you have to do is take the shortcut link, MIDLIFEMUSCLEPodcast.com. That's www.midlifemusclepodcast.com. That's the shortcut to the YouTube channel podcast. And you get to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and you won't miss a thing from us anymore.
Yeah.
All right? A lot of good stuff here. All right. So going a little deeper, let's touch on, I did a quick scroll through your Instagram. Tell me about, is it Wallen or?
Wallen.
Wallen.
Yep.
Tell me about Wallen.
Oh,
and how does he factor into your activities throughout the week?
So, kind of long story short about him. So his father is actually my family dog.
Okay.
My aunt's been breeding Bernese Mountain Dogs for 40 plus years,
Wow.
a merit breeder and everything. And when my mom moved down here, she met a bunch of friends showing him. His name's Bo. And met a really good friend and was like, hey, do you want to breed our dogs together? They had puppies. Unfortunately, the mama didn't do very well with the delivery. So all 3 of us were handling the puppies pretty much since birth. I knew I always wanted to get a dog. I just moved up here to Jacksonville. And
from St. Augustine.
Yes. So having a dog like pretty much my whole entire life too, like it was very weird coming to a empty house, not anyone excited to see me.
Understood.
And especially being a single female, like I wanted to be able to feel like I had someone to be there just in case. And so I picked him, and he is just the goofiest and loving dog.
Awesome. I'm pretty sure you had him at the gym once or twice,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I know. I've seen him early on.
He loves. What I can't even like ask him like or talk about the gym around him, or he'll get all pumped up, be like, oh, "We're going to the gym. We're gonna go. Oh my goodness, we're so excited."
That's awesome. So do you get good long walks with him each day, or?
Now I do. When he was a puppy, and with getting him like in the summertime, it was really hard because he has a lot of fur. But now that it's cooler, he's a little bit older, we can go for longer walks because I love walking. I literally walk all the time.
I get 9 or 10 miles a day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I break it up. Morning, midday. I'll do one after this, and then tonight when all is said and done before bed.
Yeah. So when I wake up, like our morning routine is let him out to go to the bathroom, start my coffee, let him have his breakfast, and then we go for a little less than a mile walk. And then midday, now that it's cooler, we go for about a half a mile. And then after dinner, we go for a little bit less than a mile walk.
Okay. Good. He must love that.
Get all the steppies in.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. So before we go deeper on some of these things, let's just quickly go back and tell me, give me the quick summary of how you handle your food shops and having all these meals that you eat ready to go. How does that work?
So I am sponsored by a company called Jetpack Nutrition. They're a local company here and really good friends of mine too. So they give me a meal a week. So I'll have that meal. Usually it's just my chicken and sweet potatoes, just super easy. And then I like to get my fruit and vegetables all fresh. So I'll go to Sprouts, Whole Foods, any like organic place every about like 3 to 4 days. And then my meats I like to do also super fresh too. So I like to do about 3 or 4 days. So sometimes I'm at Sprouts like every single day of the week.
I get it.
So they pretty much know me by name now. They know what I'm getting.
Right. So that's part of your regular routine, is stopping in, getting your stuff. people take for granted how easy, like people complain about food shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so easy just to go in and get it. Like you don't have to pick it. You don't have to grow it. You don't have to like.
Exactly.
It's there.
Yep. It's right there.
Right. So how do you do your food prep then? Besides being able to buy the food on a regular basis, how do you time your prep so that it's ready every day?
So my breakfast, so like my pre and post workout, I make every single day, before and then obviously after my workout. Whereas like my chicken, my lamb, my veggies, if I am cooking them, I like to do every like 2 to 3 days, just to make sure it stays really fresh, so we don't have food going bad. And with eggs, like I can pretty much have them in the fridge forever. So
understood. So you said you're kind of simple and plain. Do you spice up your foods at all? Do you use herb seasonings? Not just...
No. I'm a psycho like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm crazy like that. Like I just eat my chicken the way it is, super happy.
Any sea salt, pepper?
I'll use, so sometimes if I do go down to Whole Foods, they have an applewood smoked sea salt. It's super duper good, and it makes my lamb taste like bacon. So that also is super awesome.
That works. Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. That's good. I know there are people that out there who are just like that. They're very plain. And I used to be like that as a kid. I was nuts. Not to say you're nuts, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know,
right?
yeah.
Now I'm like, I've been exposed to all these different herbs, seasonings, spices. And like my pantry is like, you open it and stuff falls out because I'm always using different stuff and can't get enough of it. And it just makes things so much more palatable and enjoyable. Right. If you like that stuff. Right. It's like, I'm not even on a diet. Like this isn't a diet.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Like getting people to learn that you shouldn't be on a diet, but we do need to eat certain ways.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. You get it. All right. So since you got into this realm, have you ever had like a setback or been thrown off course, whether it's like some kind of crazy relationship or you had to have a surgery that was either expected or unexpected or whatever, anything like that you got thrown off and then you had to find your way back?
So definitely in 2022, that was like a very big like learning lesson for competing wise. In 2021, I started in like the natural circuit, so I was an OCB. And just wanted to go into NPC because I did want to become IFBB pro, but just wanted to test the water. So we tried OCB first. Going into NPC, it's a little bit more difficult.
Right.
Being a natural athlete, it's very hard sometimes to be competing with women that aren't natural. Right. So we really had to play around like with different foods, different trainings, and it tested me a lot. Like I loved competing in 2021. I was like, this is amazing, this is so much fun. 2022 was a lot of learning lessons. There was a lot of times where I was like, I don't know if I even want to do this anymore. Like this is just too much. Like a
lot of discouragement.
Absolutely, 1,000%. And just not placing where I wanted to be. My body wasn't looking the way I wanted to look. Not making the improvements that the judges want. Like they want this, they want that, and just be like, well, I'm doing what you're saying you want me to do. Like I don't know what else to do. So with that being said, I reversed out of competing in like around this time last year, really, really bad. Like I was binge eating super bad. Wasn't really doing my workouts as I should have. Was it because of the discouragement triggered by that episode of experience? Yeah, I definitely think so. And also with just being in prep for a really, really long time. Rebound. That my body, like I was like, oh my gosh, I can have anything I want. This is great. We're in off season. I can do whatever the heck I want. And my body's like, haha, we got something to tell you. I've been there. So, coming into this season, I was a little nervous to see, like, did I actually make the improvements that the judges wanted? I did mess around a little bit, so with like my diet and training and I tried to do the best that I could, but there was always like a little voice in my head be like, oh, well, you're in off season, so it really doesn't matter that much, does it? And in reality, it really does matter, especially where I want to go eventually. Like, I want to step on the Olympia stage. Like, every workout, every meal, every step really does count.
Right. What's your current height and weight, off-season weight?
So I am 5'3", and I'm 125.
Off-season?
Yeah, off-season.
What did you compete at last time that you remember?
So when I was in Tampa, so I did my pro debut in Tampa this past year, and I was 108.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, Christiana's got all kinds of awesome photos and some video clips on her Insta. You have some videos on there, right?
Yeah.
Some of them are her competition ready shots. So you're going to want to see those to get an idea of the things that she's talking about. We'll put some context behind the photos.
Yeah.
And again, even though like you might see a lot of us posting photos of positive outcomes, positive portrayals, etc., we all have our challenges. No matter who we are, what we're doing. I've spoken about mine at length in past podcasts, but everybody who's going to be on here, you, Ashley, everybody has challenges. It's a matter of processing them. Like, you and I know we're believers, so there's God involved in how we climb out of dark times. Yeah. But even if you're not a believer, if God's not a part of your mix, inside of you is the ability to climb out of any dark space you're in. But it's a matter of wanting to and seeking the right help and guidance for that. And that's why I asked this question. Like, I'm going to ask it from every guest.
Yeah.
What's a specific challenge, dark time, period where you got thrown off, as bad as it can be, and how did you find your way back? Yeah. So your story, it's yours, it's unique. Nobody has that same story, but a lot of other people share a very similar story, especially competitors who are traveling that journey, want to do more, and they're exposed to different levels of the game. That's good though. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sure that's given you more fuel for fire to push forward.
Absolutely. And so with this year and like getting my pro card, I felt super rewarded because when we got into prep, I was nose to the grindstone. There's nothing stopping me. I'm getting this pro card this year. And I told David, I was like, I'm getting my pro card and we're doing Tampa as my pro debut this year. And he's like, show me what you got, girl. I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
and
nice.
So with reversing this past year, I definitely did it in a better mindset. I wasn't super frustrated. I was so incredibly proud of myself this past year and how hard I've worked. And I feel like also with competing, it's self-love and just being like, you did a good job. You did everything that you could.
I think the people who go through it the best are the ones who realize you're only competing against yourself, really. Yeah. That's really it. That's where the victory is, right? And you're competing against all these other people. Yes, that's part of the whole game. But at the end of the day, it's like, how good can I do for me versus the old me?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And I do tell my competitors too, I heard this from an expediter and it hurts at first, but then when you think about it, it makes sense. He said, this is the worst you're ever going to look. Because every stage you're going to look better and you're going to do better and you're going to place better. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, I like that. Because it's so true.
Yes, it's just a matter of having the foresight and patience to stay the course. You're not going to force your body to change faster than it can or want to.
Exactly.
So the key is having that patience, knowing next year's better and the year after that will be better.
Exactly.
And if that's what your goals are, it's having that vision and just knowing inside of you that as you stick with it, you're just going to continue to improve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Love it. All right. So on that note, let's start with, I think you've already stated your competition goals.
Yeah.
Those came out.
Yeah.
Competition aside, what are your health, wellness, longevity goals that fit into this bigger picture of your life?
So my family's not very like into fitness. I'm kind of the black sheep of my family.
Okay.
My dad was an athlete when he was younger. Kind of goes to the gym. My mom tries to go to the gym. My sister tries to go to the gym.
Are they in their 60s, early 60s?
50s.
Late 50s?
Going to be in 60s.
Okay.
And then my sister is 2 years younger than I am. And I just want to be able, so seeing my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, and their health really declining and being in their 60s or 70s, 80s, I kind of don't want to be in the same spot as them.
Right.
Like, I would love to be able to be in my 80s and feel like I'm in my 40s.
All right, this is good. So as you're tuning and watching, you see the signs back here, Midlife Muscle, you see the logo on the shirt. That's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, all the different guests are going to have different stories, different specific real-time goals, like the competition stuff for you, for Ashley. There'll be others with the same.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people that are going to be on here don't have those goals. But what you just said is priceless, because as you're approaching middle age and you're looking toward the future,
Mm-hmm.
you've been able to process what you've seen in your elders, in your family, and realize, I don't want that to happen to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It happened to them because of their sedentary lifestyle, probably not great nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And you see the results of that unfold in real time in front of your eyes. You realize, I can avoid most of that, if not all of it. Right?
Absolutely.
And so Midlife Muscle is not just about the body. This is about mindset.
Mm-hmm.
This is about your heart. It's about what you're committed to, short-term and long-term.
Yeah.
And being able to make your midlife last as long as possible.
Absolutely.
Into your 70s, maybe 80s
Yeah.
or so. Because if you maintain your strength,
Mm-hmm.
your vitality, your energy, your capabilities, your balance, good medical profile, good health exams, your midlife doesn't have to end.
No.
It's not really the number, it's your abilities,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Your zest for life.
Absolutely.
So awesome mindset right there.
Thank
I
you,
love that's
thank you.
perfect. That's what we're talking about here. That's a great example. I had a feeling you had it in you. That's why I didn't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like I tell
You're
everybody,
like, go away.
I'm like, I had to tell Sarah,
Yeah,
sorry.
but you-
I had to tell Sarah today, like, all right, that's
Yeah.
enough. I want to
Mhm.
talk to you a lot,
Mhm.
but I know there's a huge story right there
Yeah.
based on what she shared. It's going to be different. I already know.
Mhm.
But like I naturally, that's why I do this. Like I love talking to people and
Yeah.
getting the story, right? So when this comes out and people share that story, the intent is to have the viewer and listener benefit from understanding, okay, like, yeah, okay, I see her Instagram. She's a competitor. Wow, awesome genetic, awesome physique. She works hard for it. But she just said, big goals.
Yeah.
She wants to avoid what her parents, aunts, uncles,
Mhm.
grandparents are suffering from because of their lack of fitness, nutrition in their life,
Yeah.
right? That's big.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Like, again,
Yeah. It's funny too, like when a lot of my friends have already turned 30 and they're like, oh, I'm turning 30. It's so scary. And I'm like, I have never felt better in my life. I'm like, and it's
Truth.
only going to get better from
Right.
here. I'm like, if this is what 30 almost feels like, I'm excited to see what 60 feels like and 70 and 80. Like,
right. The key though is to be on track and realize that
Mhm.
you're not going to get away with not doing this. Like there's
Exactly.
not going to be a pill, a
Mm-mm.
surgery,
Nope.
like the anti-aging stuff that is just
No.
there's so much bogus being slung out there. It's crazy.
I know.
As a matter of fact, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and it's funny. So, my one client and I were in a book club, and we're all chit chatting, and someone started talking about Ozempic, and both her and I are just sitting there like, do we say something? Do we just sit back and let them talk? And I'm like, I can't listen to this anymore.
Right.
I can't.
Understood.
Yeah.
No, that's another nightmare that's going to unfold. It's just starting.
Oh, I know.
So you don't have to give any brand names.
Mhm.
Do you take any supplements?
I don't know.
Okay.
Nope.
Multivitamin?
So I take vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc every day,
Okay.
and then I drink magnesium.
Okay, so some basics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's go to unless you have anything else you want to add, we could go to nominate, question for me, and Instagram handle before we wrap up.
We can do that.
Yeah. All right. So who do you have to nominate as a future guest?
So her name is Sarah Jane Maple.
Okay.
She actually just did my hair.
She did great, by the way.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She did absolutely amazing. She's also a competitor too. She is going to be in her 40s, and when she told me that, I was like, no, you're not. Like, you're the same age as me. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
She lost a bunch of weight with, different things happening in her life, and just fell in love with the fitness lifestyle, and also being a hairdresser, and just being super successful in that, and her career just blossoming. She still finds time for herself and makes this a priority. She loves competing and had a setback, but she is thriving now, and she's like, I'm getting back on that stage. I'm like, you go, girl.
Awesome.
I'm so excited for you.
Love it. So that's going to be a good story.
Yeah.
So did you talk to her about this? Like, did you tell her?
No, I haven't. No.
Do you think she'll be up for it?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. Absolutely.
Does she train at the gym, Jax?
Yes, she does.
When does she typically get in there?
So she's usually, because she bebops around like for times, just because with her busy work schedule and traveling a lot too for work. So she's kind of a little all over the place, kind of whenever she can get in there.
Okay. Awesome. So when you're going to reach out to her to tell her she was nominated?
I'll probably talk to her today and be like, hey, girl, I got a surprise for you.
Okay. Awesome. You can share Ashley's episode with her.
Okay.
And let her know that yours is going to be published probably within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
It'll be all live.
Yeah, sure.
If all goes to schedule plan.
Okay.
If not, it'll be up by the end of the weekend. I'll share all the links with you and stuff. Okay. So what's her name? Sarah Jane
Maple. Like
very cool.
Like maple syrup.
Yeah. Love it. So when you speak with her, if she uses Insta, she can connect with me on there.
Okay.
Just like tag me or something or whatever.
Sounds good. Alrighty.
Cool. All right. What's your big question for me?
So it's kind of what you asked me, but a little bit deeper. So think back when you were down and you had no plan and you just felt hopeless. If you could look at yourself then and give yourself advice, what would that advice be?
Great question, because I had to do that a bunch of times. Again, we're all human. The advice would be, okay, this is a specific episode of your long life. This is not the end of it. And it's not going to stay like this, right? However, it's up to you to take the actions to make this episode not last as long, not have it devastate you to where there's damage done beyond repair, and to leverage this to make you stronger for the future, right? So those are the exact things I actually did tell myself. It wasn't overnight. It was like it unfolded in a series of little events and revelations, right? And so the cool thing is, a couple of times it happened when I was relatively young, in my 20s. Going through that experience was like, the blessing was that it put me in my ideal client's shoes. This is what your ideal clients are going to have experienced in their life. Maybe experiencing it as they're coming to you, because you're their answer, right? You're part of the solution. Other people, there are other people that get into those situations. Sometimes it's a dead end. It just ends. Sometimes they never seek help until like so much damage has been done. And they're calling somebody in to help clean up the mess for this last 5 to 10 dysfunctional years of depression, decay, self-pity. But that's the advice I would give myself and anybody else as well in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're
welcome. Appreciate that. Before we share your Insta handle, please tell me, I noticed 1 Corinthians 16:14. How did that make that into your profile?
So it was, I just love to like...
Whatever you do with love. That's the verse.
Yeah. And so I am just so grateful for the life that I have.
Amen.
Looking back on last year, and just seeing like all the blessings that I have this year.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's good, good, good.
I'm just so incredibly thankful for all those lessons that God put me through last year so that I could be so blessed this year.
Yes.
With, being completely out of financial debt for a good 5 years, being able to move out of my parents' house, getting my pro card, being a happy, healthy person, having the job that I have. I'm just so incredibly blessed. And I always do things with love. I
could tell.
Yeah. Like, I am just very passionate about life.
Your whole interaction with the world around you is like from a place of love. I sense that immediately.
Yeah, thank you.
even when I startled the crap out of you.
Yeah.
you still...
I turned around and I was like, what's up?
That was so good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that sincere answer. I appreciate it. All right. So let's sound out your Instagram handle. So anybody who wants to follow your journey, can go do that.
Yeah. So it is Kristiana, Kristiana B, meaning the letter B, _IFBB Pro.
Okay. Kristiana B _IFBB Pro.
Yes.
I will link to that in the show notes. So make sure you come to MIDLIFEMUSCLEPodcast.com. Look under the video player in the description. I will share Kristiana's Instagram handle if you can't find it directly. But again, it's Kristiana B _IFBB Pro.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. That's it. Thank you so much. This was, like I told Ashley, I knew this was going to be good, but this was much better than I even thought it was going to be.
Yay, awesome.
I appreciate you making the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking me.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to do revisits with you guys in the future because if this keeps going, if we make it keep going, there's going to be other chapters to talk about.
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So as you're tuning in and we wrap this up, if you're watching on video or if you are on the audio, you can also get my newsletter, MIDLIFEMUSCLENews.com. It's a free newsletter. I put all kinds of random various things in there. Sometimes they're reflections on these episodes. Like, I know I'm going to have reflections on you. I've already started having some about Ashley, and I'll highlight certain things that come to mind that I just simply want to write about.
Yeah.
And many other things. I share hidden photos from my phone about silly foods, food trips, anything I could share that is of value to anybody. So it's MIDLIFEMUSCLENews.com, free newsletter. You put your email in, you're in the loop. If you're on audio and you want to check the video and subscribe to that, it's on an actual podcast channel on YouTube, because YouTube is now allowing you to serve up podcasts as videos. MIDLIFEMUSCLEPodcast.com. And that's it. Until next episode, which I'm actually recording with Argan tomorrow.
Yeah.
Argan, you know Argan,
awesome,
right? That's it. Peace and much love to you.